Entertainment.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Q back at it again with another reaction video. This one's a little bit different. Um, y'all remember that girl that they kept either making fun of or trying to figure out what she saw when she was sitting down in the flight? The plane was about to take off. She gets up, starts hollering, saying that mother over there is not real. People started assuming that it was ghost, demon, shapeshifter, God, whatever it was, whatever they were saying. So didn't hear from her. Now this guy named Spidey, he's got his channels called the Behavioral Arts. She finally spoke. She put it on her channel. Her name's Tiffany Gomez, by the way, or Gomez, or Gomas. And so I wanted to. This dude's very in tuned, and he's very he can be very pinpointed when it comes to facial expressions, the way they talk, tones, stuff like that, and he's very good at it. So I wanted to see if the way I perceive people, because I believe that I'm very in tune with people. Sometimes I can be left field, right field, but sometimes I'm right there, boom, right in the center field. So I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna analyze right before he does it, so I can see if we hit the same spot. So let's go ahead and get into it. See what's up. Really doing this video for me, but it'll be really cool if I hit it on point with him. You know what I mean? If not, it's cool. No worries. Maybe you want to do your own reaction. Maybe while I'm doing it, you're doing it too, to see what you get out of it, you know? If you think you're intuitive or really high, keen on stuff like that. So let's check it out. All right, here we go.
My use of profanity was completely unnecessary, and I want to apologize to everyone on that plane, especially those that had children aboard.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Behavioral Arts. My name is Spidey, and I use my degree in sociology and psychology, my certification in criminal.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. This dude is certified. Me, I'm not. So that's one thing. That's why I do like going to his channel. And if you didn't hear it right now, he said the Behavioral Arts, and his name's Spidey. Spidey Senses. So
Criminal interrogation and body language analysis, and over 10 years' experience as an award-winning mentalist to teach people behavioral analysis and practical psychology on stages and television shows all over the world. A few months ago, a video went mega viral all over the internet of a woman on a flight trying to get off the flight who kept yelling that someone at the back of the plane was not real.
That motherfucker back there is not real! And you can sit on this plane and you can f***ing die with them or not! I'm not going to.
In the video, she seemed legitimately panicked, and a lot of theories arose as to what it is she was yelling at or what it is that she was going through. Well, a few days ago,
I mean, if you pay for a ticket and then all of a sudden you start acting scared, either two things: either you've never been on a flight and you don't want to get on the plane because you're very scared, or two, you're scared and you don't care if you waste the money that you just paid for the ticket and you just want to get off the plane.
it was revealed that the woman's name was Tiffany Gomez,
Or you had to take like a really big fart and you just didn't want to do it in front of everybody.
and she released a video on her Instagram and her Twitter accounts apologizing for the event. But what do her body language, facial expressions, and word choice reveal? Is this a sincere apology?
Talking about fake, she looked fake with that make, man. Okay, I'm done.
Are we getting any clues as to what she experienced on the plane? And if this is really the woman from the plane, why does she look and sound so different? Let's dive in.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tiffany Gamos, probably better known as the Crazy Plane Lady.
Okay, so like if you're gonna start analyzing, you want to do it now because I started to do it. I got the idea and I wrote down mine. So because after this little segment, he starts going into his own thing. So just I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. Okay, and then go from there.
So different. Let's dive in.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tiffany Gamos, probably better known as the Crazy Plane Lady, which is completely warranted. As you know, I have been unwilling to speak on the viral video, but I do finally feel that it's time. First and foremost, I want to take full accountability for my actions. They were completely unacceptable. Distressed or not, I should have been in control of my emotions, and that was not the case. My use of profanity was completely unnecessary, and I want to apologize to everyone on that plane, especially those that had children aboard. Can't imagine going through that and trying to explain to your kid what in the world just happened.
Okay, so let's start with a question that is
Alright, so I went ahead and I did my own little analysis right here. So from the very beginning, she comes out straightforward, and she says, "Hi, I'm such and such. I haven't had any time to explain, or haven't had any time to do a video of what happened, and now it's come to time." But when she goes, "It's me," I wrote down here. She said, "Sincere opening makeup and a positive intro. The me part, it's me, and I'm here. I know y'all been waiting." She comments and even calls herself the crazy phone, or the crazy plane lady. So when she says me, it seems like she's building herself up due to everybody wanting to know who this chick was, who she was, and she kind of waited a little bit, and now that she's doing it, she's, "Hey, I'm here." Like, it's kind of like a self-image kind of thing. I kind of thought that was a little weird, especially if you're making an apology video. If you're making an apology video, then I wouldn't be so, "Hey, I'm here, guys. Like, the party's arrived." You know what I mean? Let's see, what else did I write? Okay. Okay, so she fesses up and she's agreeing to the crazy plane lady. All right. But at the very end of her tone,
saying, "Why does she look and sound so different?" Let's dive in.
Better known as the crazy plane lady, which is completely warranted.
okay, so she says the crazy plane lady with a smile. Right there, I did it perfect. Right there where her facial expression is, where she says it's completely warranted. That right there to me, and her tone goes lower. Okay, that right there to me seems like she didn't want to say that, even though she had to say that just to make it look legitimate, legit, and that she agrees with everybody. So she smiles because of the name that she made herself, okay? Then right after that is her real reaction to another fake sentence that she said, which is completely merited. So I believe that statement altogether is not what she is really thinking. I think she's just bullshitting right there.
As you know, I have been unwilling to speak on the viral video, but I do finally feel that it's time.
Right there too, she was unwilling to speak, which means to me, if she was unwilling to speak after the fact of what the incident was, whether it be a shapeshifter, whether it be some people said she was even racist, that it was a black guy that she was sitting next to. I'm not quite sure. That's what I heard on one of the videos. Don't quote me. It was a demon, reptilian, whatever the hell they're called. If she strongly believed that, I think she would have went to either TMZ, media, anything that had her own video, YouTube, and made a video. But simply because she didn't want to, maybe somebody knocked her across the head and she realized that she was doing, or maybe herself, she realized she was doing wrong, and she really didn't want to make a video. But then it probably got out of hand to where she had to.
First and foremost, I want to take full accountability for.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to take full, yeah, right there. She has two roads. She has right or left. I want to take full responsibility, or I want to apologize. I want to apologize, which is I am sorry. And then you have, I want to take full responsibility. Okay, you're going to take full responsibility. So what does that mean? You take full responsibility to any of your actions that came? No, nothing happened to you. So I would take full responsibility on that, you know. But if you're looking at jail time, or you're looking at a ticket that you had to pay something, then maybe you wouldn't want to take full responsibility. But since this is an apology video, she didn't even say that there at that time. She kind of paused too before she even said take. She could have said apologize, but she didn't. She paused and then she started to say take full responsibility, which again makes me think that this is bullshit.
For my actions, they were completely unacceptable.
And she knew that.
Distressed or not, I should have been in control of my emotions, and that was not the case. My use of profanity was completely unnecessary, and I want to apologize to everyone on that plane, especially those that had children aboard.
Okay, right there, I believe she's being sincere. She's steady, eye pierced at the camera. She's going a little bit down while she's talking about it. Tone changes a little bit. Head movements, not erratical, and as you can see, she's has some hair. Some head movements that are kind of like, she's only done it one time. She's only done it one time so far. So, but like whole attitude, you can just see her demeanor change about when it comes to the kids and profanity. Right there, I think she's being sincere.
Can imagine going through that and trying to explain to your kid what in the world just happened.
Okay, so let's start with...
Alright, so I hope you got your analogy done. Let's see what this guy says.
The question that is circulating quite a bit on the internet, and that is this even the same woman from the plane? Because she looks significantly different. So, first off, Newsweek published a fact-checking article. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out, where they had quite a bit of evidence backing up that this was the woman on the flight, including a police incident report from the airport that day that confirms that it was this woman. You guys can go check that out. Another interesting note is that on the Instagram account where she posted the apology video, we see several pictures of her with a tattoo on her wrist. And if we go to the body cam footage of the police escorting her out of the airport after she urged them to not let that flight take off, we clearly see that very same tattoo on the wrist of the woman who was on that flight. Secondly, if we apply critical thinking...
Wait a minute. That argument was due to iPods. So why would she... Because apparently the reason why, or the reason for the yelling and the not wanting to sit next to the person that was next to her, it was due to iPods, apparently. I hope he brings that up, but yeah. iPods. So if it was about iPods, why are you telling the people or the captain or the police to not let the... Do you think the iPods are going to interfere and the plane crashes or something? That's weird.
In order to say that two things are definitely different, we have to account for all the variables that might cause a perceivable difference. In other words, we have to look at the two videos and go, what else can be causing the fact that she looks different? So if we look at that first video on the plane, we see someone who is traveling. So yeah, she's wearing nice clothes, but her makeup isn't on that heavy. Her hair is tied up. Also, she's in complete panic mode. She's yelling at the top of her lungs. So she's in a state of panic. And we're seeing her from the side, from a couple of feet away. But if we look at this apology video, it's completely different. We're looking at her head on. We're very close. Her hair is down. Her makeup is done quite a bit more in this. We could see some eyeliner, some eyeshadow, some mascara. There's some sort of lip gloss.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like she beat herself up in order to get this video. So not only does she look good for the video, even kind of, she her eyebrows are fucking freaking me out. She's looking good for the video. So if she's about self-image, she's also about self-words and how she presents herself. So I kind of that matches what I'm kind of figuring out here.
There's some foundation. So there's a lot of things here that are designed to change the way somebody looks. She got ready for this video, you can tell. And finally, she's not in fear of her life. She's not yelling and screaming. She's calmly talking directly to a camera. So do they look different? Yeah, they look different. But are there a lot of things that could be causing that difference? Absolutely. Finally, if we do just a little bit of digging and go on the Instagram account where she posted this video and go back and look at some photos, there are a few where she certainly looks a lot more like that woman on the plane. She even looks more like the woman on the plane than she looks like the woman in the apology video.
Okay.
So we're seeing that she's using different filters, different amounts of makeup, she wears her hair differently, and it does drastically affect the way she looks. But in some of those pictures, she certainly does look quite a bit more like the woman on the plane. So what am I saying? Am I guaranteeing you that this is definitely the woman on the plane? No, nothing is a guarantee, nothing is for sure. But so far, it seems reasonable to believe that this is the woman from the flight. If a credible source were to come out, like a family member or somebody who works for the airline and say, hold on a minute, that's not her, then that would be a credible source. We could believe and go, okay, now wait a second, something's going on here. But some random people on the internet saying that's definitely not her because her nose looks different, that's not a credible source.
Yeah, not
okay,
at
now
all.
let's move on to some actual behavioral analysis. So one of the things we talked about when we analyzed the video of the woman on the plane is that her blink rate was unnaturally low. Because she was in a state of fear, of panic, of reaction, this commonly happens where our blink rate drops because we're trying to assess the situation. In this apology video, her blink rate is pretty
And her nostrils flare up a lot.
standard. The average human blink rate is between 14 to 21 blinks per minute. Hers isn't noticeably higher than that, it's not noticeably lower than that. Oh my god, wait a sec. What if that's because it's not even her? In all seriousness, that just validates what a lot of us were thinking with that original video.
Yeah.
The fact that she must have been in some sort of survival mode. Because in a normal state, it's really not normal for anyone's blink rate to be that low, but in a state like that, it's quite common. Right at the beginning of the video, we see an expression that as a mentalist, I'm very, very familiar with. And it's as she introduces herself, she smiles, she goes, hey everyone, it's me. And she smiles, and we kind of see her shake her head like this, as her eyes slowly halfway close and then open up again. This is something that I see extremely often on stage when I bring people up on stage who are self-aware. They're very aware of the fact that there's an audience. In this case, she's talking to a camera, so people are watching. Mm-hmm. And they say something that they think, oh, they shouldn't have said that way, or that was silly to say. And we kind of see this, the blink is very common with this kind of thing. We might even see an eye roll sometimes. And it basically loosely translates to like, oh, that was silly. Why did I say that? In her case, I believe she's going, hey everyone, it's me. And I think in that moment she's realizing like they don't know who you are. Which is why she immediately goes to introducing herself, saying her name, and that she's the woman.
No, I don't believe that. I think she's too pretty to have that kind of thought process. I think, yeah, no. I mean, I'm not saying he's wrong, but in my opinion, I think he is. I think she was saying that to, like, hey, I'm here, hi, type thing. I don't think it was, she caught herself by saying it's me and, oh my god, nobody even knows who I am. She knows, people know who she is now, you know what I mean? Even if she is a crazy plane lady.
From the plane. So I think in that moment, it's kind of like she's starting the video and she's kind of going, oh, they don't, why'd you say that? They don't really know who you are. It could also be a little...
Not only that, but she's not going to start off with something that is not set in her mind what to say exactly, like her first two sentences, you know? I'm not saying she has it written down, but definitely for somebody like that, she's not going to just freestyle it at the very, very beginning. So she knew what she was going to say at the very beginning, so I don't think that's like a second guess, like, oh my god, why did I say that?
A bit of like self-awareness, like I don't really want to be here to do this or be talking about this, but this is something I see very commonly with people who are self-aware in front of an audience. Next up, pay attention to her face when she says, probably better known as the crazy plain lady. More specifically, pay attention to her eyebrows.
Better known as the crazy plain lady.
Now, regular viewers of the channel know that I pay a lot of attention to eyebrows because there's a ton of research in social psychology.
What if you don't have eyebrows?
That has shown that we use the eyebrows a lot for communication, and we've been using it for a very long time in nonverbal communication. It's very important to the way we evolve. We connect a lot with our eyebrows and indicate a lot of importance with our eyebrows. We often emphasize with our eyebrows. Now, when she says, crazy plain lady, we could see in her tone that there's emphasis there. We hear the emphasis. And if we look at her eyebrows, we see the slightest upwards movement. The other thing you'll notice is if we look at her forehead, it's very smooth. There aren't lines there. So, this is not someone who does or who can, one or the other, move her eyebrows that much. Now, we can speculate as to what that is. We
what does that mean?
Well, this is someone who may have had some cosmetic procedures on her face, and maybe that's the reason that there isn't that much mobility in her eyebrows. It's a good theory, but for me, what's important is this. Her eyebrows don't move much. Or even if they do, they really don't go too high. Like in that moment, that was supposed to be an eyebrow flash, but they moved so minimally, and that's pretty much as big an eyebrow flash as we're going to see in this video. Now, two of the common reasons that we use the eyebrows is emphasis and social connection. Like when you see someone you know and you flash with your eyebrows as you greet them. This is very common. We connect with the eyebrows. This is really important because in an apology video, there are certain moments where I'm expecting to see this eyebrow flash. Like for example, imagine if I'm apologizing to you about something I did. Imagine the difference between me going, I'm really, really sorry for what I did, and going, I'm really sorry for what I did. Just that eyebrow flash does help us connect. And in an apology, I would expect at certain moments for someone to emphasize, how awful this was, I shouldn't have done that, appeal, try to connect socially. I want to see those eyebrow flashes. So there's going to be certain moments where we might intuitively feel like we're not really connecting or feeling that she really means this, but keep in mind, her eyebrows don't move as much as they're supposed to. Then after she says, better known as crazy plain lady, she says, which is completely warranted. And there's a couple of really interesting things that are happening here. First of all, she's using the term that's demeaning to her, and she's saying it's completely warranted. Now, often when people don't take accountability for something, we see something called psychological distancing. They don't own up to it, they don't connect with it. But in this case, she's saying crazy plain lady, and that's completely warranted. So
because this is a apology video, whoever this chick is, she might be big in some type of industry where she needs to clear this so she don't look crazy, or not. And if it's not, then his argument sounds better. But if it is, then her grabbing the first meme or the sorry about that. Grabbing the first meme or the first title of her, of what is pretty much common by all those videos, she's gonna grab and then, yeah, it was me. I'm sorry. I'm the big-toed green goblin lady that screamed at all the little kids at the time. You know what I mean? Because it's about her. She's going to see what people are saying about her. Sorry, y'all. Okay, no, it wasn't for me. Anyways, so, I mean, he's the expert, not me. But she could be faking the funk.
She's not making excuses. She's not distancing from that term. In fact, she's embracing it and saying, yeah, that's warranted.
The crazy plain lady, which is completely warranted.
Now, if she is part of like I said, like a big industry kind of thing where she needs to clear her name, she's not stupid. Which means the rant on the plane is kind of weird. Like, why would you trip over some iPods and then tell the police to not let the plane go due to iPods. If that's what this is about.
I do want to mention a quick caveat that applies to some of what we just said and some of the things we're going to see moving forward. And that's the fact that I read online and on social media that she is a marketing executive, which means she has a lot of experience with presenting things for the most positive results. So if we look at things like taking full accountability, not making any excuses whatsoever, we're going to see things like being a little self-deprecating, even complimenting some of the critics a little bit to get them on your side. These are all things that strategically and psychologically do work.
What did I
As a
say?
marketing executive, she would know that. Now, how you take that information is completely up to you. I'm strictly analyzing behavior here, but I'm no one to tell you how you should feel about this. So some of you can look at this and go, okay, so what? She's a marketing executive, but she went through something intense that day. We could tell from her panicked state. And as a result, she did some things that were a little disrespectful, a little rude. She's not very proud of it. So at least there's an attempt here to take accountability and apologize. On the other hand, some people might look at this and go, I don't know, a lot of what's being said here seems really well thought out and planned, and I'm just not really feeling it. So maybe this is an expert in marketing who's...
Not that I don't feel it, because I do in some of her things, but there's a little bit more salt and pepper. You know what I mean?
doing damage to himself, trying to spin this in a positive way. I don't think that either of those ways of looking at this is unreasonable, and I think it'll depend person to person. But I want you to notice what happens immediately after she says the word warranted on her face.
Yeah.
We see something for a quick second. It's very fleeting. In fact, it's really hard to pause on it, but I'll try my best. Here it is. And we're going to see this expression numerous times throughout this video at very key moments. And this is the micro expression of disgust. So micro expressions are when we get a quick flash of one of the universal emotions. And there's a ton of research out there on the universal emotions. These are emotions that pretty much anywhere in the world are experienced and expressed more or less the same way. And disgust is one of them. In fact, it's a very intuitive one. With disgust, things close up because it's a response to something unpleasant. We see or smell something unpleasant, and we try to close everything up because we don't want more input. So we purse the lips, we scrunch the nose to try to close the nostrils because we don't want to smell it, and often even with the eyes, we scrunch the eyes like this. So the typical face of disgust, and this is something wherever you're watching from in the world, you'll recognize, is this.
Okay.
Pretty much anywhere in the world, we know that's disgust. We even see this behavior in babies. When they don't want to eat something, we see the baby go like this. So what I believe is happening here is that, I don't know for a fact if she believes that that title is merited.
Right.
Maybe she thinks it's a little harsh. She's taking accountability for it and saying that, yeah, it's merited. You have the right to call me that.
But does she
But
believe
I do
it?
think that she's disgusted with the thought of being that crazy lady.
Right.
She's disgusted in her own behaviors, and she's also
No.
disgusted in that
She's
idea
disgusted
that
with the
this
people that think that.
is what she's out there for, what she's there for.
Right.
And it's going to happen numerous times when she thinks back to her behavior and the repercussions of it. There's a really interesting moment when she says, first and foremost, I want to, and we hear this audible exhale, and we even see both her shoulders drop.
First and foremost, I want to...
And this kind of drop, anything that drops is rarely a positive sign. Usually with positivity, things go up. With negativity, things droop and come downwards.
That's the part where she could have said either I want to apologize, or what she said, I want to take full responsibility. So taking full responsibility, if she would have had like actual charges, fines, anything like that, then I can understand that. But notice she did that, said two more words, did that pause breath thing, and then said, take full responsibility. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also this exhale of like exasperation. This is something when we're annoyed or at a loss of words or options, we hear this kind of thing. And it's unclear in this moment why she's feeling this way.
What do you
Could it
mean?
be because she has to do this video and it's so negative, it's such a drag, like I have to apologize for my silly behavior? Or is it her thinking about the way she behaved and that's still irritating her? Is it a mix of the two? it's really hard to know. In behavioral analysis, we typically look at what happened in the seconds just before an expression,
Right.
and what's going to happen in the few seconds
After.
after the expression,
Right.
because that emotion could be tied to either one of those two. Now, in this moment, she's saying, I want to start by taking full accountability. So we don't know exactly what's going on in her head. Is she focusing on this apology, or is she getting an image of her behavior on that flight? Hard to tell, could be either one. Once again, note that when she says full accountability, I want to take full accountability, we're seeing emphasis with her words, we're seeing emphasis with the gesture of her head, and we're seeing the eyebrows again move just a little bit. So in other circumstances, that would look like, I want to take full accountability. But in this case, once again, her eyebrows don't move that much, so we're not getting that eyebrow flash. Then we see a rather unique expression that I'm once again quite familiar with because of my work on stage as a magician and mentalist. So she says that her use of profanity was completely unacceptable. And we see her eyes dart up and her chin, her head goes up as well. Ex-FBI interrogator and best-selling author of the book What Everybody Is Saying, Joe Navarro.
What do you think that means, y'all? I think that means, what, did I put anything on that? I didn't. Yeah, to me, what would that mean? I guess annoyance too, like, or it can mean like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Like, oh, whoa, that was close. There can be a bunch of dumb, crazy stuff, but I mean, for that moment, I think that was another acting gesture, probably, maybe. I can't really speak on that.
Talks about this look quite a bit. He talks about it specifically in his Dictionary of Body Language. Terrific reference book. I'll leave a link in the description. But he talks about how that darting upwards is often seen in someone who's having a stroke of bad luck or is experiencing something really impossible. It's almost like an appeal to the heavens, like somebody help. So think about an athlete who misses a very easy shot. You might see that exact expression as they go, are you kidding? Or like, oh my God, come on now.
Yeah.
And for me, it's also very common because as a mentalist or magician on stage, I bring people up and it's my job to show them something impossible. You know, I could tell them the word they're thinking of or the passcode to their phone and all these impossible things. So it's very common for me to say, like, what? Like, what did I just witness? What is happening? So I think it's something we see in moments of like, it's against the odds. It's like an, oh, come on moment. So in the case of Tiffany Gamos, we've seen her emphasize other points as well, but not with this eyes up as she says that the use of profanity was completely unacceptable. And I wonder if in this moment, what's going on in her head is that this is really uncharacteristic of her. Like, she does not often swear. I also wonder if she's a religious person. Because in that moment, it could be like, I swear to God, I don't normally swear. We often see this kind of thing with, I swear to God. Again, it's an appeal to the heavens. The last thing I want you to notice about this first clip we just looked at is that she doesn't justify it. She doesn't justify what happened.
Yeah,
no
she
part of
doesn't.
her yet is saying, listen, here's what happened. She's not explaining it. She's only taking accountability and apologizing so far. Put a pin in that. It's going to be really important later.
That's what's saving her from me calling it complete bullshit. It's because she hasn't tried to sideline anything. Like, she's not justifying her actions. You know what I mean? However, agreeing too much with the narrative also makes her kind of look sus. You know what I'm saying?
When we try to understand what happened and what this entire video is about. Okay, now we're going to move on and look at the rest of her apology and see what's her intention with this video, and are we getting any clues as to what actually happened on that flight. But before we do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on for more behavioral analysis and practical psychology content. And for regular viewers who want to encourage the channel, I will leave a link in the description where you could find out more information about becoming a member of the behavioral arts and the perks that you get.
Oh, shit.
We all have our bad moments, some far worse than others, and mine happened to be caught on camera for the whole world to see multiple times. Sorry, trying not to sound like Minnie Mouse.
Okay, so in this one we're seeing things that are consistent.
Oh, that was real quick. Okay, so
Try not
I'm gonna do it again.
times to be.
Perks that you get.
We all have our bad moments, some far worse than others, and mine happened to be caught on camera for the whole world to see multiple times. Sorry, trying not to sound like Minnie Mouse.
Okay, so in this one, we're seeing things that are consistent.
One more time.
Far worse than. We all have our bad moments, some far worse than others, and mine happened to be caught on camera for the whole world to see multiple times. Sorry, trying not to sound like Minnie Mouse.
Okay, so in this one, we're seeing things that are consistent with what we've seen so far. Like, just in the beginning, when
Okay.
she speaks, we see that exhale again with the shoulders dropped pretty much the exact same way as before, except for this time, her gaze is downwards as well. Her eyes are looking down. Now, regular viewers of the channel know that I don't give that much importance to the specific
Okay, so
one we're seeing
let me do mine first.
perks that you get.
Okay, so let's see. This is the second head shutter that I see right here.
We all have our bad moments, some far worse than others, and mine happened to be caught on camera for the whole world to see.
Okay, right there, she's saying, okay, be at the very moment she is thinking of her actions. Okay, is where her head shutter is, which is, it just happened at the very beginning. She's embarrassed. She is giving an excuse of why she was acting that way. And this is where she starts to justify her actions. Okay, when they're fully not sorry at the end, seem sincere. Okay, so on this one right here. Okay, I'm gonna rewind it real quick here. That was actually for the first one. I don't know why I read that. Okay, she wasn't at her best for the worst part of her actions. Okay, yeah, that's what I wrote. Okay.
And mine happened to be caught on camera for the whole world to see multiple times.
She's starting to justify. She's starting to justify that, unfortunately, her actions at that time, because everybody has bad moments in their life. Unfortunately, for her, it got caught on camera. So it got played several times. This is her starting to now take her foot off of the I'm with all y'all, I fucked up, to like, well, hold on, just my bad moment was caught on camera though. You see what I'm saying? Like, she's starting to sideline this real quick. She's gonna set up her play real quick here. That's what it seems.
Sorry.
Trying to what?
Not to sound like Minnie Mouse.
Okay, I don't know what that's about. Trying to sound like, not like Minnie Mouse. Meaning, I guess when she doesn't want to sound high pitched. So, okay, well, that kind of threw me off there a little bit, but she took a breath, like kind of like a sigh, another sigh, shoulders down. She smiles on this one, so I guess she regains her composure. But this one doesn't. But it seems like right now she's starting to do the assist for the. It wasn't my fault.
Okay, so in this one, we're seeing things that are consistent with what we've seen so far. Like, just in the beginning, when she speaks, we see that exhale again with the shoulders dropped pretty much the exact same way as before, except for this time, her gaze is downwards as well. Her eyes are looking down. Now, regular viewers of the channel know that I don't give that much importance to the specific direction that eyes go in order to know, like, oh, is someone making something up, or are they actually recalling? Because in my experience and all the research I've studied, there isn't enough for me to believe that that is very reliable. I think at most it might be guidelines, but I don't use eye directions that much. However, downwards is pretty reliable. Think about how when you're sad or you get bad news, we often go downwards with everything, not just the eyes. Everything shuts down, we get smaller, we drop our head, and the eyes go down as well. In fact, I think anybody looking at that expression in the beginning can sense even intuitively that it's a negative moment. It's not a happy moment for her. Then when she says, we all have our bad moments, I wonder how many of you caught it, because once again, we see very quickly the micro expression of disgust.
We all have our bad moments.
We see that tension around the mouth, we see that crinkling around the nose. And again, in this moment, as she's talking about bad moments, she's thinking about that moment. It's very likely. So again, we have this consistent, quick flash of disgust, potentially towards her own behavior. I think when she's thinking of whether it's the way she came off, the way she behaved, we're getting a little bit of disgust towards that. What's really interesting is that immediately after that, she says that her bad moment was caught on camera to be seen multiple times. And as she says multiple times, we hear her voice crack, exactly the way your voice cracks before you're about to cry. And now we once again see tension in the mouth, because we can see around the mouth those little lines and the lips are coming together, but it's not disgust.
Yeah.
Because there isn't that crinkling of the nose and that rising of disgust, because we can see around the mouth those little lines. And now we want here to be seen multiple times. And as she says multiple times, we hear her voice crack, exactly the way your voice cracks before you're about to cry.
Maybe she is disgusted,
and now we
but
once again see tension in the mouth, because we can see around the mouth those little lines and the lips are coming together, but it's not disgust, because there isn't that crinkling of the nose and that rising of the mouth. I'll put them side by side here so you can really see the difference, right? So the first one, again, it's a micro.
That's like an embarrassed disgust.
Expressive disgust.
That's more like
come down and there's intense crinkling, but
that's more like an embarrassed disgust, and that one looks more like a pissed off disgust. Like serious disgust, like for real type stuff, no?
You definitely see the mouth is a little raised and it's causing that crinkling around the nose. On the right side, we're seeing that tension around the mouth, but it's not raised and there isn't any scrunching. And there's another huge difference.
She can't scrunch.
Which is not only not seeing disgust, but it's the complete opposite. And it's nostril flaring. If you look at her nostrils in that moment,
she's mad.
They actually open up.
Multiple times.
Which is the polar opposite of what happens with disgust. With disgust, we're trying to close the nose because we don't want to get more input, we want to get less. But in that moment, her nostrils open up, like she's trying to get more oxygen. So what's happening in that moment? It's quite simple. Given the fact that her voice just cracked, given the fact that we can already see her eyes starting to tear up, the nostrils are opening up, and we have that compression. She's about to cry, and she's trying to hold it in. That's what that compression is from. In fact, immediately after, we see the mouth hang open for a moment, and things hanging down is quite consistent with sadness. And then she compresses the lips again, this time a little more obviously, and says, sorry.
Sorry.
I just love that difference between the nostrils, because once you know it, you can't unsee it. In that first compression, we had that scrunching around the mouth, but the nostrils didn't move. In that second one, they opened up. And nostrils flaring is most common with anger, because when we're angry, our body's trying to figure out how to react. We might have to run away. We might have to engage, physically in a fight. So the nostrils open up for more oxygen intake. But it also happens with sadness, because with sadness, sometimes we get choked up. We're having a hard time breathing. So the nostrils open up for more oxygen intake. Okay. So right there, it's crazy that there's a distinction between the two lip compressions, one with disgust, one with...
But again, I don't think she's sad at the fact that she acted like that. I think she's sad because she said multiple times that it was played multiple times. So she's not sad at the fact that she did it. She's sad at the fact that it got broadcasted a lot. That's what I think. If she's sad.
Sadness. Then we have the little self-deprecating joke where she goes, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to sound like Minnie Mouse. And she kind of laughs as she leans forward. So we're going from something sad to a self-deprecating joke, because a lot of people said that on the plane in the way that she was yelling, that pitch was really high. So there's a moment here where she's self-deprecating and connecting to the fact that she did sound like Minnie Mouse and almost even laughing at herself. I think a part of her genuinely found that funny, because if we look at that smile, she's leaning forward with it, looking at the camera, almost laughing at herself. And we even see the eyes squint a little, and we see the little lines, the crow's feet next to the eyes. And typically with people who have cosmetic procedures on their face, or even a lot of makeup, we don't see those lines. But with her, we're seeing it. The cheeks are rising, the lips are up, the eyes are squinting. So this is a genuine moment of her kind of laughing at herself when it comes to that Minnie Mouse reference.
Well, it has been really comical for everyone, and I have highly enjoyed so many of the memes. On the flip side, it is very invasive and unkind. And I don't know what I would do without the love and support of my friends and family. They are loyal to a fault, and I don't know what I did to deserve them. Sorry, y'all.
Okay.
Kind is enjoyed so many, really comical for everyone, and I have highly enjoyed so many of the memes.
Okay, she's being genuine there, I think. But look, she has her eyes closed, smiling, like, okay, but what?
On the flip side, it is very invasive, and
While she's talking, she's letting all this go. So, she's being real right now about what she's saying. So, what she's saying is invasive, kind of hurts, and that's real right there. She's looking directly at the freaking camera. All right now, real emotions, real words are coming out of her mouth.
and unkind.
Okay, right there is fake. She looked away. She had to gather her emotion of, I gotta play the victim again. So yeah.
And I don't know what I would do without the love and support of my friends and family. They are loyal to a fault, and I don't know what I did to deserve them. Sorry, y'all. I hope that I can use this experience and
All that was genuine, I believe. She didn't pause or anything. The whole stop to think was really her thinking about family and friends, I believe. And when she said, sorry, y'all. This bitch from Texas? Well, Tiffany Gamos. Anyways, yeah, so all that was real emotion. How she liked the memes, but then it kind of hurt, and it was kind of mean, like really mean. Thanks to my friends, they helped me through it, blah, blah, blah.
and do a little bit of good in the world, and that is what I intend to do. I hope that you guys can accept my apology and I can begin to move on with my life.
There you go. Okay. Join me on my journey of promoting positive mental health and standing up against cyberbullying.